My friends and I have always had a thirst for thrill and adventure. Every summer we pick a new remote location to bask in nature's grandeur, far from the clamors of city life. But our trip to the Black Forest was an experience none of us saw coming, an experience that resonated long after we left, leading us terrified to our course. Our chosen campsite was nestled deep within the forest, stumbled upon as if by fate. The towering pines swayed gently in the summer breeze, making a whispering sound like voices confiding secrets. The first evening was spent in pure bliss, engrossed in storytelling, laughter, and the campfire's welcome warmth. We retired to our tents, oblivious to the horror that lurked in the forest's deep, shadowy heart. We were ripped from our peaceful slumber when a gut-wrenching shriek echoed from deep within the forest. Fear clutched at our hearts as we emerged from the tents and decided to investigate. We followed the fragmented echoes of the piercing shriek until we arrived at a small, neglected graveyard cocooned in dead silence. Dominating the area was an old, decrepit church with stained, broken glass that refracted moonlight in hues of sickly green. A sense of pure evil saturated the air as we pushed open the termite-ridden door of the sanctuary. Inside, on an ancient, tarnished altar, we found a disturbing Bible, its pages filled with inverted crosses, cryptic symbols, and an unknown language that reeked of dark rituals and sacral invocation. Unsettled, we fled back to the campsite, deciding to retreat at first light. However, our journey back was plagued with frightful moments, the inexplicable rustle of leaves when there was no wind, shadows cast in the moonlight that seemed far too humanoid, and distant, uncanny whispers that seemed to call our names. Dawn couldn't arrive soon enough for us. But as we began to pack, the sky darkened ominously in a matter of moments. A massive storm tormented the forest, trapping us. Even under the protection of our tents, we could feel the wrath soaking into us, deeper than skin, where it morphed into a dread of the unknown. Eerie whispers turned into horrifyingly clear voices that spoke directly to us. To me, they recounted my darkest secrets and zeroed in on my deepest fears. I was not alone. Each of my friends was enduring their own horrifying encounters. We were sleep-deprived, hungry, and since the storm showed no signs of withdrawal, we slowly slipped into the cusp of insanity. Amid this horrifying situation, one of our friends, Mark, disappeared without a trace. The last anyone saw of him was when he was petrified, staring across the tents towards the obscured path to the wicked church. Our frantic search led us back to the chilling church. An uncanny sound echoed within, a familiar voice, whispering our names. Mark's voice. It was then we witnessed the most repulsive and unholy sight. Mark's likeness was captured perfectly in a grotesque statue in the middle of the church, where the sacrilegious Bible lay. The chilling realization sunk in we were being haunted by an unholy entity residing in the very land we were encroaching upon. We began seeing terrifying illusions faultlessly tailored to our worst fears. Invisible forces held us captive, tormenting us by both day and night. On the third day, the storm eventually dissipated. Weak, traumatized, but filled with a desperate need for survival, we packed what was left of our belongings and began the grueling trek back to civilization, leaving the nightmarish church, the statue of Mark, and the tainted forest behind. After we arrived home, we alerted authorities about Mark's disappearance. A search was conducted, but no trace of him was found. The local authorities mentioned old folk tales of the haunted church and the enigmatic entity who'd lured unsuspecting humans to meet their grisly fate. It appeared we had become part of that gruesome folklore. Our bond was tested and ultimately cracked under the vehemence of that horrifying ordeal. The forest we once saw as a sanctuary was now a bottomless pit of nightmares and remorse. Each creaking door, every secluded church held an alarming prospect of recounting our terrifying escapade. The majestic sight of towering trees reminded us of the whispering pines, narrating bone-chilling tales we wished we could forget. That camping trip, which was meant to draw us closer to nature, had only underlined the malign forces that sometimes lay hidden among the silent trees. Our tale stands as a chilling testament that in our pursuit for adventure, we sometimes stumble upon horrors that we are ill-prepared to handle. I've always been an adventurous soul with a penchant for exploring the unexplored. So I planned a solo camping trip to the solitary wilderness of the Appalachian Trail, where nature's beauty could keep me company. Little did I know, my long for tranquility would morph into an unimaginably terrifying experience. My first night under the starry sky was a testament to the tranquility that camping in secluded locales can offer. But the second night brought with it an unnerving encounter. As I sat by my campfire, a blood-curdling scream sent chills down my spine, echoing through the silence of the forest from somewhere nearby. Picking up my torch, I decided to investigate. I stumbled upon a deserted cabin, hidden deep within the woods. A sense of unease overcame me as I stepped inside to find strange symbols etched into the cabin walls. Then, an odd sound started, growing to a low hum, filling every corner of the cabin. It felt as though the cabin was alive, whispering chants of an ancient language, until in a sudden shift, an agonizing, cacophonous noise took over. Petrified, I scrambled back to my campsite, only to find it in a state of disarray. The fire was extinguished, my belongings were scattered, and worst of all, the same unsettling symbol from the cabin was etched into the bare earth, surrounded by gruesome animal remains. Terror gripped my heart. I was being targeted by something inhuman in the wilderness. No matter how much I attempted to calm my emotions, every creak of a settling tree, every gust of wind made me jump. The once tranquil wilderness was now a terrifying battleground. Whispers filled the air at night, and menacing shadows lingered just out of sight. My provisions began to dwindle mysteriously, and I found myself facing not just the chilling presence, but real, life-threatening danger. With the hope of escaping whatever was tormenting me, I trekked deeper into the wilderness. But relief was short-lived as my nights continued to be plagued with inexplicable events and my days filled with impending dread. I started making protective symbols on trees, reciting prayers, and even setting out offerings, hoping to ward off the unholy entity. Things took a perilous turn when a severe snowstorm hit. Trapped and isolated under a blanket of snow, food was scarce, and I was blinded by the incessant blizzard. My fight for survival became a grueling duel with nature's wrath. Then, in a desperate search for shelter, I found an old map detailing a nearby abandoned ranger station. Depleted, frostbitten, but hopeful, I embarked on the harrowing journey to what seemed like my only chance at survival. Only to be met by the familiar, foreboding symbol etched with intent on the ranger station's door. My blood ran cold as I realized with horror that I had walked into the very jaws of the spectral beast. As the spectral entity unleashed its wrath on me with horrors that transcended the natural, my will to survive strengthened. I fought till the dawn slowly peeked through the windows of the station, a grueling ordeal that left an indelible impression on my soul. Exhausted yet victorious, I emerged from the forsaken woods, a survival protagonist in my terrifying encounter. The experience altered my perspective forever, reminding me of the fearsome power lying dormant within Mother Nature's folds. Every time someone speaks of the serenity of Mother Nature, I cannot help but recount my torturous tryst with what lay camping alone, an unfathomable scary ordeal. I have always cherished backpacking and camping, but one particular trip with my closest friends turned out to be the most horrific and traumatizing experience we ever faced, which scarred us for life. We chose a notoriously secluded spot in the dense wilderness of the Blue Ridge Mountains. The first day was full of laughter, storytelling, and camaraderie. But as the sun settled beneath the pine-covered ridges, we realized our paradise was transforming into a playground for an insidious presence. We were sitting around the fire when the first scream pierced the air. A blood-curdling, inhuman scream, just beyond our circle of light that sent shivers down our spines. Fueled with naive courage, we decided to investigate, but what we found defied all logic or reason. In an overgrown clearing, we saw a ghastly circle of hanging dolls, their glassy eyes glowing in the moonlight. Each doll was disturbingly realistic, and they swayed gently as though alive. Suddenly, one of the dolls let out a horrifying wail, its eyes turning blood red, sending us scrambling back to camp. The atmosphere changed instantly. The darkness grew heavier, the silence ominous. Despite our bravado, we all felt eyes on us, an eerie sensation of being watched. We decided to hunker down for the night, but sleep was impossible. Our dreams were invaded by chilling visions of doll-like figures dragging us into the deep forest, their shrill laughs echoing in our ears. One by one, we woke up screaming, soaked in sweat, until we all confessed to experiencing the same nightmares. We quickly packed to leave at sunrise, but our escape was thwarted by a sudden storm, trapping us in an inescapable nightmare of the wilderness for both day and night. We were losing our minds, hunger gnawing at us, with almost no edible supplies left. One friend, Emma, claimed she was hearing whispers, mentioning our names, inviting us further into the forest. We all dismissed her claims, until Henry went missing. A frantic search led us back to the clearing with the dolls. In place of the doll that had scared us first was a new doll, too identical to Henry. We all could not believe the unspeakable terror that lay before us, witnessing the very essence of our friend Henry confined to a ghostly doll. With fear gnashing its teeth at our sanity, we started seeing, hearing, and even feeling things. The dolls whispered our secrets, taunted us, echoed our deepest fears. Trees took monstrous forms in the shadows, and our own shadows seemed horrifyingly alive. The storm finally ceased on the third day, and we made our desperate escape from the accursed wilderness. No one spoke of the eerie dolls or Henry's unexplained disappearance. We reported Henry missing, and a search party was sent, but no trace of him was ever found. Haunted by guilt and terror, the ordeal broke the group apart. The shadows that had once signaled safety now brought back memories of our terrifying experience. Every doll became a grim reminder of our once treasured friend Henry. Our camping trip was supposed to be a respite from our daily worries, but turned out to be a horrifying ordeal that reminded us of the horrors that lay hidden under the pine shadows. The story will always serve as a chilling cautionary tale about the unpredictable terror that can manifest in the heart of nature when you least expect it.